And we are live. What's good, y'all? It's your man, BL Saint. Welcome. Part 2. I really want to know podcast, man. We had to do a part 2 because we couldn't get the video to play. And what we were talking about earlier, we're going over there's a YouTuber out there who was doing an interview, talking to a young woman who was on the Fresh Fit podcast, I guess twice. And I was talking about the interview, but I just couldn't get it to play. But I can get it to play now. So we about to get in here and make it happen. So no need wasting any time. Let's get into it. And we are live. What's good, y'all? Welcome to the I Really Want to Know podcast, y'all. Some indeed, man. So yes, this is gonna be all right, man. We gotta do a part 2. Like, we do it live, we do what we gotta do, we make it happen. So I'm happy to finish this, man. So I hope you guys are having a good evening. I did watch the playback from the other video. We had some glitching, but it wasn't too terrible. I remember back in the day when we really had glitching issues, but I am going to resolve that issue. I am going to get either get a new system or upgrade the current one. So it's just all about the computer. So if I can upgrade this computer, maybe add some sort of graphic card or something like that, maybe that'll help. I think it is the computer, but it could be my provider. So you know how troubleshooting works. So we're gonna start with the computer, talk to some pros, see what they can do. And if it's not a computer, then probably gotta find a new provider because there's plenty of them down here. So I just have to try someone else, which would suck because they have great prices. I'm not gonna lie, for my internet and for my phones, because it's me and my daughter. Ooh, great prices. So if you hear some noise in the background, guys, downstairs my daughter is making herself some pancakes. So she is cooking. Yay. You know what I'm saying? Where's the yay button? Yay to my daughter. She's making it happen. I'm so proud of her. But hopefully it's gonna taste good. We'll see. And if it doesn't taste good, we got a backup plan. Went and got her some steak. It's like a flavored or something like that. Anyway, we got some mashed potatoes. We got that. We got some corn. We can make something of it. So yeah, man. So here's the thing. Earlier today, we were live. We were talking about Mac Lawson. That's her name. That's the young lady who's being interviewed. And the podcast she was on is Women on Men. And then I forget the name of the guy, but that's a dude who really has a grind to axe with Myron. The guy's like he's anti-red pill, but I really think he just hates Myron. And y'all go back and look at his content, and it's just like, bro, you really don't like this dude. It is what it is. But we were talking earlier about the message versus the messenger, the branding, and all that. So what Mac Lawson was talking about in her interview, right? Red pill relationships, masculinity, submission, and the kind of man she actually wants. But we're gonna listen to the video, and we talked about what she was describing is what the red pill says guys should be. So let's just jump into this, man. Let me go ahead and pull it up. And I did some checks earlier, so we should be good, right? I'm all ready to make it happen. Gonna have to do a little bit of adjusting on my end, but we're gonna make this happen. When this video pops up. And I mean, you know how it is, bro. You know how this is. Sometimes, right? It's like sometimes you make the best plans and then the gremlins get you anyway. So let's do this. Just kind of moving our screens around so I can see what's going on. Normally, basically, I had to reverse my screens. So that's all we're doing here. And then we're going to go and we're going to add this screen real quick. Like I said, man, I really enjoy bringing you guys content. I'm learning so much, so producing and starring and writing and, researching and all the other ends. I guess it's a lot, but it's fulfilling, bro. Like it's fulfilling. So, all right, we got the chat up and rocking. So if you guys got anything to say, please, before we get going, do like, share, and subscribe and all that kind of good stuff. Um, like, share, subscribe. Let's see, what else am I supposed to say? We have the new community we just started on the first. So we have um the community we're building, we're calling it the founders. So to be a founding member, of course, you just, it costs X. What is it? $4.99. So it's $5 a month. And there's behind the scenes footage back there. There is plenty of content that I'm just putting up. Like right now, we got 7 videos. Over the weekend, I'll probably put up a bunch more. It's gonna be everything. Like when I'm out just out and about in the car talking about stuff. So it's the content that you kind of see already on the platform, but for the members, it's gonna be different content. We got emojis and icons and all kind of stuff. I'm still learning how to work all that stuff, but it's all in there. So you know, and I know, like, bro, I ain't tripping. Times are getting hard, right? Yeah, I get it. So if you don't have uh, the spare or discretionary cash to to donate or to invest, man, I get it. Just do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, and all that stuff. It just we're trying to push this to the next level. That's all we're doing here. It's all golden. We got Donald J, DJ DeMarco in the building. Internet seems solid. The storm has passed. We did have a really bad storm pushing through at the same time, but I think it was my system. I think it was my system. So here's the video we didn't get a chance to watch earlier. And again, pay attention to what she's saying. Remember when dudes, especially in the mental swamp and in red pill world, dudes say it doesn't really matter what women say. It's really what they do. You got to really track their actions as opposed to tracking their words. And I'm not saying that, like Sister Mac is confused or lying or anything like that. It's just you got to pay attention, right? You just got to pay attention and listen to what is being said. So, hey, let's get into it. Like I said, we're probably going to watch the first 20 minutes or so, maybe 30 minutes. And yeah, that's it. Here we go. Women on Men. Check them out.
Women on Men, where we explore modern dating, attraction, and relationships through the eyes of women. Today's guest says stuff most will never say. She's a stand-up comedian, a roast battle host, and the voice behind her own No Holds Barred podcast, Mac After Dark, where she takes apart modern dating with dark humor and zero filter. She's lived the dating scene in half a dozen cities, and she's done something almost none of my guests have done. She went inside the manosphere itself and saw exactly how the sausage is made. Funny, fearless, and honest to a fault. Her name is Mac Lawson. Welcome to the show.
That's such an intro. You did your research. I was reading through everything. I was like, wow, he did his research.
Yeah, I wanna know as much as I can about the guest so I can give them a proper intro and just understand what kind of questions I should be asking,
Yeah.
And just so you guys know, I did reach out to old boy, and I haven't heard back from him. I'll try again. I just went to Instagram and shot him a DM. I shot her a DM just a couple hours ago. I will probably hear back from her, and it's not just because of this content. We're breaking this down. We're doing this reaction video, but she's a comic, and I was kind of looking at her Instagram, and I think I saw some pictures of her in LA. So I'm like, you're a comic. So now the question is, how long have you been doing comedy? Right. So that's one of the things I wanted to know. Like, how long you been doing comedy? Because if she's been doing comedy for a minute, we probably know some of the same people. So I'm sure I'll hear back from her. And again, this isn't a hit piece. We're not trying to go after her or him for that matter. We're just gonna look at the content and have a look at what they're talking about and kind of break it down. But that whole part about she went into the manosphere, man, if I'm telling you, if she were here, if I was talking to Sister Mac, I'm like, okay, break that down for me. What exactly did you do? Like, how did you insert yourself into the manosphere, into the mano swamp, into the red pill world? Like, to put what he said, she was able to see how the sausage was made. She's in Miami, I believe. So obviously she's done Fresh and Fit twice. So I mean, she's doing her own thing. There's something about the rap, what was it, roast battling. Y'all know that's how Tony Hinchcliffe got his start, right? For those who don't know, Tony Hinchcliffe, one of the, Rogan Sphere's big comics. Tony Hinchcliffe was working at the comedy store, like most comics do, doing his thing, and someone came up with this roast battle idea based on all the rap battling that was going on at the time. And Hinchcliffe was, bro, the best I've ever seen do it out there in LA. And that's where Kill Tony was born. Everybody's familiar with the Kill Tony thing, but it was born in the moment when he got on stage and was just crushing the comedy rap battles. It was like a comedic rap battle. I was never into that. You know, they asked me, "Hey man, you want to get in on this? You want to, be a part of this? We could bring you on as one of the comics." That's just not my thing. I'm like, y'all know I don't do that. Like I do comedy. I'm a traditionalist. Like, give me a stage, a bar stool, a glass of water, or a cognac and a microphone, and we can rock. I don't do the extra stuff. I don't do the improv. I don't do the rap battles. I don't do any of that. Um, First of all, I'm just not good at it. And secondly, I have no desire to do it. But look what it did for Tony. Turned his life around. So I haven't checked out our podcast. It's on Kick, I believe, but I will check it out. But let's get back to the video.
So, you are brutally honest about dating and relationships. What made you decide to start making comedy about it?
Well, so I have kind of an interesting backstory. I was actually a virgin until I was 22. I tried to wait until marriage. Yeah. And I've just had a very crazy dating experience. And I also grew up, my parents had issues, but I grew up with a loyal dad. So going into the dating scene, I was just like a culture shock of just kind of the degeneracy of men and women. I'm not going to lie. Women have it as well.
Thank you.
So I don't know. I think it just kind of came naturally. I just have a very crazy dating experience. So just naturally something that I just end up talking about.
Yeah. So at 22, I mean, that's to me, that's not abnormal, but is there a reason you waited till 22?
I was trying to wait for marriage because I was like super Christian.
Do you see where our society has moved to? Because even he's sitting here and he's, certainly you can say he's blue pill or he's not RP or part of the Mano Swamp. He's like, well, why did you want to wait? 22. Like, what's up with that? And the answer is, I mean, historically, you were supposed to wait till marriage. I mean, yeah, most people didn't. It's people doing what they were doing, but those people who were doing what they were doing were going to get married anyway, right? So, historically, that's where our society was. You're supposed to, especially as a woman, you want to save yourself for marriage for that first guy, right? So I don't know why he would ask that question, but again, that's when you're part of the mainstream. When you're out there, part of the mainstream, you're rocking with today's society, today's woman, boss babe. Yeah, DJ DeMarco's right, man. 22 ain't that crazy. It's not that crazy. And think about it. Most men at age 22 are virgins, right? So she's just kind of doing her thing. And then, she's going to continue her story. But it's like, yo, at 22, most dudes ain't did nothing. Most dudes, the vast majority of dudes, which dudes are out there rocking? The top tier guys, the high value dudes. Those are the ones who are out there rocking. But most dudes at 22, maybe they got a body. Maybe. Most guys don't. But that's not, is it really late though, bro? Is it really late? I mean, I think that would be something nice to see. Like you see society make a push the other way. And it's like, hey, let's just save ourselves. Everyone, like just sit back and save ourselves for marriage. Something about women. Dudes are always going to try. But I just thought that was wild. Why would he ask that question?
But what ended up happening is I still have a relationship with God. I still consider myself a Christian.
Yeah, why not?
I guess, but
she's a sinner like the rest of us.
So many bad experiences in the church and so many bad experiences with men. I don't know if it's different now, but I was never considered to be a girlfriend because I was a virgin. People were not interested in me. And especially when I made it clear that I wanted to wait till marriage, I was rejected so many times that by the time I was 22, I just I gave up. I mean, some people might frown on me for saying that, but I just gave up. And in fact, the only relationship that I was able to sustain was from a guy who turned out to be gay. So he's my friend now. But yeah, so.
Again, that's wild. She was doing fine. She was doing fine. It was just the pressure. And it sounds to me that she really wasn't getting the attention she wanted. She would get the attention because, like I watched, I looked at her Instagram. She had some really nice pictures. Like she's fit. So I can imagine when she was in her 20s that she was really fine. Now I like most women, it's like, yo, you're wearing too much makeup. Like, babe, you're wearing way too much makeup. You don't need all that. And you know, a lot of women just, man, they just smear it on. It's like, babe, you don't need all that makeup. I saw pictures on her Instagram that was like really toned down makeup, and I thought she looked very good. Right? She wasn't wearing the bangs, like different hairstyle. I thought she looked very good. Then you see all the makeup, and it's just like, but I mean, I get that. It sounded to me that she wanted attention. She wanted more attention. She couldn't get it. Here's the thing I do want to tell you guys: male, female doesn't matter in today's world. Being a virgin is not a flex. I hate saying it. You know what I mean? I hate putting it out there. You know what I mean? People are like, oh man, why are you saying that? Like, bro, being a virgin is not a flex. I think it's a good thing to save yourself for marriage if you can, or, you know, especially if you're a woman. I think it's a good thing. You know, I don't think it's a bad thing, but it's not a flex. If you come out, you messing with somebody, you tell them you're a virgin, especially a dude trying to holler at a woman, and you're a young chick, and you out here hollering at, you know what I mean, the football captain, the basketball captain, you hollering at these, you know what I'm saying, Hunter, who's riding around his daddy's Bentley or whatever, driving around a Ferrari, you telling him you ain't gonna do nothing to you till marriage. He's gonna be like, oh, that's respectable, ma'am. Get out. He's not gonna waste any more time with you because he's trying to smash. So that's not a flex. And if you're a dude and you're going up to a bunch of women talking about I'm a virgin, they're gonna look at you like something wrong with you. Like no woman would touch you in today's world. Women know how freaky other women are. So if you are in that situation, if you are, you know, one of those folks out there who that you currently saving yourself, you are a virgin, just don't broadcast it. Just don't broadcast it. Just move like everybody else. Just kind of party, do your thing, kick it, whatever, whatever. And then if you find somebody, you with someone, y'all spending time together, and then it gets to a point where, you know, he wants to do something. At that point, you're gonna have to tell him, like, nah, I ain't doing that. I'm saving myself for marriage. Now, here's the thing. If the guy really cares about you, the guy really wants you, and he's looking at you as wife material, you know, why wouldn't he be like, all right, cool. All right, cool. If he wants you, and I tell this to my daughter all the time, like if you're dealing with a boy that really wants to be with you, first of all, he ain't really thinking about sex like that. The average dude, he's just happy to be with you. He wants to hold your hand, he wants to walk around, he wants to talk to you, he wants to be on the phone with you all night, he wants to be texting or whatever you young kids are doing today. That's what he wants to do. He wants to be with you, not bang you. And if the only thing, like if he's pressuring you to do something like that, and you ain't comfortable, and he's still pressuring you, like, nah, leave dude alone. Because if he really wants you, ladies, if it's for the, you know, 2 or 3 ladies that watch this thing, if he really wants you, he ain't worried about the sex. But if you're dealing with a guy who got to get the skins, you're dealing with a guy who got to smash, well, that's a guy on a different mission. And the only way to keep that guy around is to let him smash. But if you let him smash, he's going to be gone soon after. Hit it, quit it, pump and dump. So ladies, you got to be careful. And this is why they say women need to preserve their value. This is why they say that. And is it hard? Yeah, it's hard. So hard, in fact, that sis right here was like, I needed some attention. I just went ahead. Now she's going to tell a story about how she lost her virginity, which I think is crazy, crazy. So let's keep going.
So that's, yeah.
Wow, that's very interesting. That first time, if you don't mind sharing, what was it about that guy that you were like, you know what, now's the time?
So I'm just kind of a weird person. I don't know. I decided because I did not want to be emotionally attached to the first person that I had sex with, because I had horror stories from my friends. So he was just a friend. He was somebody that I could trust, and he was very handsome, and he was an Abercrombie and Fitch model, and I was an Abercrombie and Fitch model. So this is not a good example of why you should lose your virginity. But I was like, okay, if I'm going to do it, I'm just going to do it with him. I've waited this long. Like, I'm going to make sure it's somebody that
Women don't care about guys who are tall men. Women don't care about handsome dudes. The first dude she decided to be with, she wanted to pick a guy that was going to have no strings attached, and he was a model. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. That's exactly what the red pill says, man. Become the model dude. Become the top tier guy. Become the high value man.
I don't get emotionally scarred from, to be honest. And there's some other things that led up to that as well. I was sexually assaulted by one of my gymnastics coaches, which I've never actually said on a podcast. And then I also was filmed in my room by my neighbor when I was 19. He ended up passing away of a heart attack shortly after. But I found a camera in my window, and we ended up finding out that it was him. So there was just a lot. Before I even had sex, I had already been through so much that I knew I didn't want to be hurt more by my first sexual experience.
Wow.
So.
No, I think, I thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Also, side note, I'm happy to cut anything that you don't want.
No.
Okay.
It's fine. Yeah. I mean, he and I also, you can cut anything. I don't know if there's any like rules, but he didn't actually like penetrate me or anything. But what he would do is he would just stretch me in a really inappropriate way. And it took a lot of like therapy and stuff to realize like what was going on while he was doing it. But yeah.
Yo, real talk, man. There's nothing funny about that. You will never hear me clown somebody for something like that. I mean, what she just shared was real personal, bro. And she just shared it to the whole world, even though boy was like, whoa, I'll cut this out if you want me to. She's a comic, man. She's part of that world. She was like, nah, man, it is what it is. I've never said this on, on camera before, but hey, it was what it was. And she really, and she dug down and told her exactly what it was. Like, it was an inappropriate stretching and stuff like that. Still, that's, it is what it is, man. That sucks. That sucks, bro. And a lot of people have gone through a lot of things. And that does play into the whole dating landscape, and that goes into our baggage. Now, this is something, she did nothing wrong, right? Like, she had to deal with this as a little kid. She did nothing wrong. Like, dude, somebody should have stitched dude up for that. You know what I mean? That's what should have happened there. But hey, man, like, it is what it is. But yeah, man, her first dude, Abercrombie and Finch, model. He is a model. I just want no strings attached. And, so I just picked him. Why can't she just pick one of these other dudes? You know what I mean? Why shouldn't you pick a bottom 80 dude who's just like in shape and is like a nerd and loves her? Like, it's crazy. You know what I mean? We got Brother Pitney in the building, man. What's happening, fam? Man, you'd be surprised, man, how many females go through that, bro. They go, like, they're dealing with that, and then depending on where you live or who you are, like people like us, we out in the streets and we're dealing with gunplay and all that kind of hyper violence outside, but inside, they're dealing with that. It's hard, man. It's terrible. It's terrible, man. You know what I mean? I'm so sorry she had to go through that.
Wow. And so you had a lot of negative experiences, but you said your dad was loyal and he was a good husband.
Yeah, I like to say he didn't ruin men actually for me. I think he's one of the reasons why it took so long for me to get married, and my parents did not have a good marriage by any means. But yeah, cheating was like taboo in our family. That was just not something that I thought that most people did. So when I got into my first serious relationship and he cheated on me all the time, I did not know what to do with it, because I have this view of men from my dad of just being loyal, so I've just never settled from that.
Yeah. And when was that first serious relationship?
So the first serious relationship was when he was actually one of the first people I had a real sexual encounter with. I think I was like 23 when I started dating him. And he messed me up. I think when you speak to a lot of women, they have this first relationship where they deem a guy a narcissist, whether they're actually, a narcissist or just don't know how to handle their emotions, don't know how to process, their feelings. I think varies depending on the guy. But this guy actually is a narcissist. He was worked very high up in the government. He was selected for his position based off of a psych eval, which I believe was because he was insane and had no sense of, empathy or remorse.
Come on, shorty. I was with the government. What are you talking about? They only hire crazy people? Come on now. Mandrell's with the government. Shout out to Mandrell. What's happening? Speaking of crazy, deranged, we got I'm just playing. Ain't nothing wrong with Mandrell. He's just fine. You know what I'm saying? My favorite Green Beret, man. So she said this is her first real intimate encounter. This is her first, I guess, real boyfriend. But we already know she smashed the model. Just to get it out the way, right? She smashed the model. Okay. And then she said this is her first real experience. Does that mean that this is the guy that she smashed after the model? Or did she smash a couple more dudes between the model and then the narcissist dude? I got questions. Now, here's the thing. And again, if I were interviewing her, I would do a pre-interview and say, hey, this is kind of what I'm thinking. If I get into a line of questioning that you don't like, just bail on it. Just bail on it. No problem. We just move on. Right. That's just the way I interview folks. And I would ask a question. If she wants to bail on it, I would just pivot and not even bring it up. You know what I mean? Or change the question around. But you see, like she was preserving her value, right? Just like the red pill was saying, like preserve your value. Then she got to a point where she's like, you know what? For whatever reason, maybe I wasn't getting enough attention. People making me feel weird. I felt uncomfortable. Everyone else was doing it. I wanted to get in on that as well. I didn't want to be the outsider. So I decided to do something. I chose a guy that I had no emotional tie to whatsoever for my first guy. And then he was hot or whatever. And we just did what we did. And then I got a boyfriend. It's like, okay, right. So when you talk about body count, which again, I don't get in the body count of just, you know what I mean? The mental swamp dudes, the red pill dudes, they love to talk about body count. But you can see as an attractive female, she can rack up as many dudes as she wants. Right? And then you were like, well, you talk about body count. Does the first dude even count? People was like, well, that didn't count because of this and that didn't count because of that. And you got that. So dudes, I tell you all the time, this is the deal. You guys are worried about body count. You got a woman. Oh, she's a good woman. She got a low body count, blah, blah, blah. You will never know how many sexual partners that woman has had in her life. Ever. Ever. I mean, why would she tell you? Why would she tell you? Think about it. If the roles were reversed and if it was frowned upon for men to have a whole bunch of sexual partners, wouldn't you lie about that, bro? Right? Especially if you're lining up trying to get another one, wouldn't you lie about it? The reason men lie up about sexual partners is because it's so hard to get intimacy from women. That's why they lie up. It makes them look. Women will say, I don't want an F boy. I don't want a boy who's out there banging all these chicks. I don't want. But then they turn around and they reward the bad boy with the skins. So again, you listen to what they say, not necessarily. I'm sorry, you listen to what they do, not necessarily what they say. And that goes for dudes too. Like, so yeah, we're talking about female nature and we talk about that over here, but real talk, we need to be talking about human nature because dudes will go out here and do some F stuff too, bro. They'll be out here trying to, you know what I'm saying? Stab you right in the back or whatever. So you got to pay attention to both. But don't worry about body count. There's so many dudes out there so worried about body count, man. You will never know. You will never know. Right? Period.
And it was a really, really tough relationship. And I was raised to be submissive. So I ended up staying with him a lot longer than I should have. Also, he wouldn't allow me to work. So there's a lot of reasons why I have a lot of opinions on this Red Pill podcast, just based off of my experiences.
Yeah, I mean, all these experiences shape how you view relationships going forward. They're the starting point. We build from it, we learn from it, but it does shape a lot of how we view relationships. I mean, you were raised to be submissive, like you said, like that's just, and you were shocked that people could even be have infidelity, like that's,
Yeah.
So all these things are probably a big shock. What about your current dating life?
So I'm currently, me and my ex are kind of hopefully working on it. And I'm 35 now. So, I've had a lot of dating experience, but this recent guy, a red pill guy would hate to interview him because he's just like every woman's dream man. He does not make a lot of money yet. I think he will. He's younger than I am. But he really changed. He undid a lot of what guys in my early 20s did to me. And he's a guy where I'm able to be submissive again and feel like very safe in doing so. So we'll see if it works out. I hope it does. There's a big age gap, so there's some issues there, but we'll see.
And
so there's a big age gap. She's way older than he is. Sound like she says she's 35. Dude's in his 20s. Like, is he 25 or younger? Like you talking about? She said big, so I'm thinking it's probably at least a decade between the two. You know what I'm saying? And DJ DeMarco's right, bro. Like she did choose these dudes. She chose these dudes, and then like same thing. But here's the thing: like I don't know what's going on the lady side of this, but if you choose a dude that turns out to be bad, not working for you, right? Then you need to move on. right? How's that song go, ladies? These boots are made for walking, and that's just what I'll do. One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you. You know what I mean? They're gonna walk out the door or whatever. But these ladies won't do it. Why? Because these guys are highly sought after. They believe these guys have a lot of value. She was talking about the narcissist dude she was dealing with, worked for the government, but he made a lot of money. He's telling me he don't want me to work. If you want to work, leave. If you want to work, and dude's like, no, he's a narcissist, he's this, he's that, he's all these negative things. And why'd you stay with him? If I'm dealing with a woman, in the moment I realize that, oh man, this ain't gonna work, I gotta cut and run. I gotta cut and run. Now, do I do that at the first red flag? Probably not. Depends on what the red flag is. But if you get into the situation, y'all together, you vetting her or whatever, right? And provided you kept your emotions in, it'll be a lot easier to see it and move on. But let's say you let your emotion out, because most people just don't have the emotional control, especially men, especially if they're dealing with a baddie. You let your emotions out, you're in love, it is what it is. Eventually, you're gonna get to a point where, man, I see what's going on, man. This is some bullshit. I'm out. I'm out. Like, you just don't stay in it. A lot of women would just stay longer and longer and longer. And then, it's like, oh, what's up with your current dating situation now? She's like, I'm still trying to work things out with my ex. So someone done pulled the plug and moved on. This young dude probably got tired of her, or maybe she, wanted to do something and he didn't, who knows? But it's like, we're working on it. Does that mean she's working on it? She's trying to get him, or what's going on with that? She's a comic. Right? She's out here in the world where she has to show some alpha traits, right? The entertainment world and the comedy world is not a place for a submissive woman. I'm just here to tell you, bro. It don't work that way. Right? So, man, and DJ DeMarco's right, man. He was a narcissist, I stayed anyway, because I was flying business class and I was eating at the finest restaurants, and, I had money. He was giving me money and plenty of clout. But it seems like at some point she pulled the plug, or maybe he pulled the plug. We it's so much that we don't know. And then old boy that's doing the interviewing, he's not trying to make her look bad. He really just wants to get to the fresh and fit part so he can talk about how much he hates Myron.
Envision a future. Do you envision being married and having kind of a traditional marriage, or how do you envision it?
Yeah, some of my I think that one of the things about my recent ex who I'm talking to now, when I met him, I was not submissive. I had kind of almost gone to the feminist side of things, not completely, but kind of. And one of the things that I really learned in my relationship with him is he actually started off the relationship being submissive himself. And he kind of like tricked me because he was so submissive. He took such good care of me. I mean, when I'm around him, like, I won't even open up a jar. I won't open up a door. He treated me like a princess. And in treating me like a princess, my nature as a woman is, well, I want to treat you like a king. And so it kind of ended up creating this like really beautiful relationship where we just like really loved doing things for each other. And even though my dad was loyal to my mom, they didn't have a healthy marriage. And so this relationship was a really good experience of what I think that marriages are supposed to look like. And unless I find it with him or with another man, I don't think I'll get married, just because I know how it's supposed to feel now.
Bro. She's like, he came in being super nice and treating me like a princess. He put me on the pedestal. I think he tricked me. And I'm sitting here thinking like, dude, that might have been his game. That might have been the young fella's game. Let me go in here. I can see she's scarred and bars. Let me go in here and show her, how that a man can be sweet. Let me show her what that feel like. Show her, what I'm saying? Let me get into her feels, because we know women love, it's all about feelings. And I think dude might have ran that good boy game. He might have ran it. And if that's what he was doing, it worked. At least for the short term, he got her, right? He got her. He got this older woman, right? She's definitely in her 30s. So she's definitely like, I'm done messing with the F boys. I'm done with the narcissists. I want a serious man. Yeah, I've heard this, right? If you haven't heard it, you've seen it in the dating profiles. This is what they're talking about. And again, she's an attractive woman. Looking at her pictures, she looks fit. Like, I don't know what she looks like today, but in the pictures that are posted there, she looks fit. Y'all know how social media, Instagram work with them pictures. You don't know until you see her. And she keeps going back to her her family, her mom and dad. Like, well, they never cheated. How do you know? My dad never cheated. What about moms? I didn't know that people cheated in marriages. It just didn't make sense to me. No one in your neighborhood got caught cheating. Come on now. People be whispering and talking about that. Oh, you heard what Joan did down there? You heard about what was going on with Chris? Yeah, bro. He got caught with his secretary, or she got caught with the milkman. She didn't even hear the stories. Kind of find that hard to believe. Again, like the interviewer left some stuff on the table there. I definitely like, you never even heard of it. Like to sit there and say that the only relationships that I saw were quote unquote perfect, or where no one cheated, and they showed their love differently, because she kept saying, well, it wasn't perfect, so maybe mom and dad was arguing all the time. Why were they arguing? Maybe somebody stepped out and got caught, and it just damaged the relationship. And they stayed together for her. That's what you were supposed to do back in the day, man. Let's stay together for her if we can. Let's stay together for the kids. Once the kids are grown, we'll go ahead and go our own way. Then the kids get grown. He's like, we can't really afford to go our own way, so let's just stay together, but we're going to do our own thing. Who knows what's going on with that? Right? Who knows? But, I'm listening to her, and she's like, I've been dealing with narcissists. I've been dealing with these bad dudes. All right. But you chose them, like DJ DeMarco said. You chose them, right? You chose them, and you stayed with them. So finally, she meets a dude. She's like, he treated me. He was perfect. He treated me like a queen. So I decided to treat him like a king. That rarely happens, my friend. If you're out here and you're listening to my voice, and you're thinking, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to treat every woman I meet like a queen, even though I haven't vetted them, I don't know who they are, they're complete strangers. I'm going to go pedestalize them. I'm going to go bring flowers, helicopter dates, expensive meals. Bro, you're going to get your pockets ran. That is just how the game goes. Maybe 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000 won't run your pockets. She might not run your pockets, but she might take the gifts. You know what I mean? Thanks for the bracelet. You know what I mean? Thanks for the cash app. Hey, we're just friends, right? She puts you in the friend zone, but you keep trying. Normally, if you treat a woman like a star, she's going to treat you like a fan. She's going to treat you like a groupie. Right? So be careful with that, gentlemen. Do not believe for one moment that that's going to get you in. What she's talking about is a rarity. A rarity.
So,
how did you guys meet?
Yeah. He's a bartender.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, he's banging everything.
A bartender.
Jeez, he's banging everything.
I don't know. He just kind of won me over. At first, I was like, "Who's this young kid? He doesn't know what he's doing or what he's talking about." But
bartender, he got her.
Was he making the first move, or was he flirting with you?
Of course he did.
I actually made the first move, and he rejected me.
Oh,
that was the game.
And then the second time, I was just kind of like, fuck this guy. He kind of rejected me, but I was like talking to him again. And then he said, oh no, I rejected you on purpose because I needed, you seemed like you needed to be rejected. And I was like, wow.
He ran his game to perfection. Bartender, cut
so
it out.
You said red pill guys would hate to talk to him. What else besides the money do you think that falls under?
I think he's the...
Hold on. Bartender in Miami or LA. Do y'all understand what type of dude that is? I mean, real talk, man. DJ DeMarco's right, man. He's definitely going to stick around for the fun. She's part of the rotation. He just ran the game he needed to run to get her. That's a young dude whose game is on point. Bartender, he has enough money. If you're in a big city like LA or New York, LA or Miami, he's making enough bread, especially for a single dude. He's killing it. As a young guy, he's killing it. Not only is he killing that part, but he's killing all that trim. If y'all know what trim is, go watch first. What was it? 48 Hours with Eddie Murphy. He's killing the trim. He's killing the Foxy Brown. He's killing it. And I'm certain now. This game, this treating her like a queen. This was just good. This was just game. Dude was just honing that game. He's like, all right, this is working. He's probably running the same game on some rich woman with a yacht.
Example, even though he's a lot younger than I am, I think he's a great example of what an alpha male is, what they think an alpha male is versus what it really is. I mean, his entire life purpose is to, like, he does he's younger. Okay. So he just turned 28.
28.
But
Okay.
his entire, everything that he does, like he boxes, he does jujitsu, and like he'll say, oh, this is, so I can protect my family. Everything he does is to protect and serve his family. And he also is very traditional in the sense, he's like my dad. He doesn't believe in cheating. He leads by example. He
Nah.
he believes in, self-control and discipline of your sexual urges. And that's kind of how I fell in love with him after the crazy dating history that I have. When I say crazy, I just mean
He was banging everybody. It was crazy.
terrible experiences with men, that he just made me want to be a good woman to him, because he was just such a good man. It was just natural to me to kind of revert back to that submissive woman that I was raised to be, because I finally felt safe to be her after that first experience with my first boyfriend. So
Yeah, I think sometimes it does take someone new to show you what a good relationship is like, and kind
yeah,
of remind you that not every man's going to treat you that way, and not every man's that way. No one's a monolith.
hmm
My wife also had bad experiences, and basically said until me, she, didn't, know that there were guys like that, that were,
exactly.
dicks or abusive or,
Yeah.
faithful, whatever.
And when you
Um,
finally meet one, you're just like, what can I do for you? I'm
yeah,
obsessed with you.
exactly. It's like, please.
There are so many dudes out there, so many guys out there who are just looking for a woman that don't have access to women like that. She's messing with a dude who's fit. He's a boxer. He does jujitsu. He's a bartender. The dude clearly has game. He's savvy. He's smart. He's like, I don't cheat. And what he means by that, and I could be wrong, but I think what dudes means by that is kind of similar to what I say. Unless we establish that we are together, just me and you, and I tell you, you the only one I'm dealing with, right? And I cut off my rotation. In that situation, I don't cheat. Once it's established, it's just me and you. But if we don't establish that, you just in the rotation, and I can still treat you well, better than well. You just in the rotation. So she might be dealing with that, right? I mean, dude, come on, man. You in a big city. You a bartender. He is 100% a cool kid, an insider in more ways than one. If you dig it, you dig it. Right? Once it's established, then it's not cheating. But if it's not established, then bro, we doing what we doing. I never said I was with you like that. I never said we was doing that. I didn't say we was no. You in the rotation, babe, and I don't have to volunteer that information either. Until you ask me. Like I said, don't lie to women. But I ain't got to volunteer that information either. So when she come up and ask, like, hey, what are we? And you're gonna have that conversation at some point. What are we? Oh, we just having fun. We're just having fun. Maybe that's why they broke up. Maybe he was like, yo, you're in a rotation. You number two in the rotation. I really like being with you. I spend, a lot of time with you. There's only one ahead of you, but you in the rotation. Maybe that's why they broke up. And now she's like, you know what? I'm cool with it. This is why you never lie to a woman, man. Let her know. Let her choose. Let her choose. She'll come back because he's treating people well. And everything she said, a protector, a provider, right? Caring, good. He's all that. And that's what the red pill preaches. She's like, oh, I finally got a taste of it. This is all I really want. But there's so many dudes out there that were giving her that. She wants all that from a dude that she's attracted to. Michael Sartain says this all the time. Women want the guys that they are attracted to approach them. They want the guys that they are attracted to treat them this way. They want the guys that they're attracted to be monogamous. They don't care about everybody else. She probably doesn't see anyone else. Although this woman right here, she sees everyone because she's a comic. She's a comic. She knows the deal. She knows what it is. Right? But bro, Mac, if you're watching this, sis, he's running game. And I ain't mad. It's all
So
good.
let's get into just general modern dating, because we all see it. I'm sure your friends deal with it. What is your take on modern dating today?
I think there's a
Ooh, I gotta hear
reason
this.
why red pill podcasts are so popular. There are some truths in what they say. And when I went on Fresh and Fit, I was surprised how much I didn't hate Myron and Fresh as much as I thought that I was going to. I don't know if it's just because I was funny. So maybe they couldn't come at me that hard, but I was surprised. Some of the stuff that they said, had some truth to it. I think that we have to, when you're dating, you have to decide what is the purpose of this. I think people have lost the desire for a family unit. And I think that the ultimate purpose of dating is to form a family unit.
Maybe,
And,
maybe not.
there's truth in what they say, but I think they miss the mark when they completely take all of the accountability away from men. Like, men aren't supposed to have any accountability for anything, but there's truth in what they say regarding, like, having multiple sexual partners and things like that. I think at a certain point that does become unhealthy.
You mean for women or men?
Both.
Okay.
I think it's both. I think this whole lie that men don't attach to women, yes, they do. Or that men aren't affected by having multiple sexual partners. I think it's actually worse. I also think it's not true that men are less emotional.
I don't know if it's worse. I mean, it's bad for both. And I can attest to that, bro. Like, you sit around and you think about it, and it's like, man, how many great women did I pass up on because I was just out here just running a rotation and trying to slay, right? I mean, and I can think of at least 4, 5 really great women that had I just done what I was supposed to do, that I think my life would have been 10x, 20x by now, because these women are just amazing. And I'm in touch with most of the women that I was close to, like not all of the women that I smashed. They're all over the world, but there's a core group of women that I came up with that I'm still close to this day. And I was like, damn, I really fucked up. I should have been with her, or I should have been with her. And then, like she was saying, the purpose of dating is to start a family. DJ DeMarco's right. Maybe not. Right. The purpose of dating is not just that. Right. It depends on the individual. Like, there are dudes out there who don't want anything to do with a family. He just wants a beautiful woman, or just a woman with him, having fun, go have a good time, spend some money, bang, you know what I'm saying? Rinse and repeat. Right. So, and you got women out there who cool with doing that. There's women out there who's like, bro, whatever it takes to get that bag. I want that Kelly. I want that Birkin. You know what I'm saying? I want that Chanel. I want them Louboutins. I want to take that trip to to the Maldives. I want to go to Dubai. I want to go to London. I want to fly business. There are women out there that just want that. And bro, trust me, they're in those circles where they can get that. Dudes are paying for that. And she might have 15, 20 dudes lined up, and she's like, all right, she might not be smashing them all, but the ones who can provide the best experiences and the things that she wants most, yeah, she's smashing them. And she's definitely smashing them. Right? And DJ DeMarco's right, man. It can be to finesse dudes. It can be just to hook up. And I just said that. You know what I'm saying? So, and did you hear what she said? She's like, I went in there and I discovered that Myron and Fresh are cool. And there is truth in what they're saying. Now, the dude who's interviewing her did not want to hear that. His whole thing is just based on how evil Myron Gaines is and how Myron Gaines is a terrible person and blah, blah, blah. If you are a real comic and she's a stand-up comedian, she sees the world a different way. And that last little bit when she threw it in there and she's like, well, trying to take accountability away from men. No one in the red pill space is trying to take accountability away from men. Right? And it's just when you start to say, hey, like what we're saying here, you're the one that chose to be with the narcissist. You're the one who's with the bartender, right? The young guy. Right? It's just like, you got to be accountable for some of this. Y'all broke up. It's probably something you did. And it might not be only you. I'm pretty sure dude was on some other stuff too. But people look at the Mano Swamp, they look at the red pill world, and they're thinking, these guys are just trying to make women look bad. These guys are just hating women. They're misogynists. They hate women, right? They have contempt or hatred for women. I have yet to meet a dude in the red pill space who hates women. I have yet to meet one. Is there one in there? Probably. They let some black pillars slide in there sometimes. I have yet to meet a dude that's in there that hates women. Most of the dudes I bumped into in the Mano Swamp, in the red pill world, what do they want? They want information. They want to learn how they can get a woman to see them, right? The vast majority of men, we use 80-20. Like we say 80% of men are invisible to most women. It's probably higher than that. But the vast majority of men are invisible. they're looking to learn how to be visible to women. Brother Penny, yeah, you're right about that. I haven't sat down around MLD or Sneeko. But Sneeko's issues were Sneeko's fault. Like Sneeko had that young girl, man, and I mean she seemed cute and nice and everything. And then the whole cuck stuff jumped off. Like he watching some other dudes bang out his chick, and bro, did Sneeko set that up? He said it was cool. I mean, I've heard things about the way dude was moving. He was doing his thing. I ain't mad at him, and I'm not gonna put his business out there like that. But with some dimes, right? He was getting it in. So this Nico had this young girl and basically like turn her out to that. And you can have a woman that's into you so much when you say, "Hey, babe, I just need you to do this. We're gonna do this. It's gonna be me, you, and old girl. The three of us are gonna do this thing." And if she's willing to do that, now you can say, "Okay, I want you to bang my homeboy over there. I'm gonna sit here and watch." She might do it. There's some women who just get blindly in love with folks, right? But here's the thing: she's still responsible for agreeing to that. She's still responsible. It was consensual. She said yes. Right. So you're going to have to own that. And, a lot of girls like, well, what am I supposed to do? Like, obviously he ain't trying to be with you like that. So you should have said no, if only because it made him uncomfortable. Yes, Sneeko wilding right now, bro. I don't, Sneeko's doing what Sneeko does. He's wilding right now. But MLD goes in on dudes also when necessary. Like, yeah, like that's the John guy, right? MLD, Modern Life Day. That's the John dudes in Japan. I think that's another guy who went from being invisible to visible. And a lot of guys, when they figure out it's not that difficult, it kind of wrecks them, bro. They really get a little hurt, bro. They feel a certain way when they realize, like, damn, I've been in love with Becky from next door since we were in 3rd grade. And she's done curved me, put me in a friend zone, made me feel like crap, whatever. And then they go out, they learn some game, they work on themselves, they become the best version of themselves. They get to the finish line, and there she is, ready to get down. And then the guy gets her, and he's just like, damn. It's been this easy the whole time? Because these guys know, like, well, if she's banging me, I know she banging all them dudes. And they can't, you know what I'm saying? They can't get the math to work for them. And I just tell dudes, like, man, chalk it up to the game, bro. Chalk it up to the game. Don't overthink this. Which the red pill guys, y'all know I rock with y'all, but the red pillars, the Mano Swamp dudes, y'all overthink things, bro. Y'all put way too much emphasis on just small little things, bro. It is what it is. But yeah, in the Mano, people are gonna hold your feet to the fire in the Mano Swamp in the red pill world, man. You know what I mean? Like Rich Cooper, Myron Gaines, Michael Sartain, man, they're all gonna hold dudes accountable. It is what it is. But in women, I mean, in fact, even these dudes are like, I mean, you really can't even blame the women too much. Like I've been in situations where I try not to get into a situation where I'm banging some woman who's in a relationship with a guy that I know. I ain't talking about like one of my people, not one of my associates, not one of my, certainly not somebody in my crew in my camp. But there now, sometimes you go to an event, you out, you meeting a bunch of folks, and then you see a woman, and bro, you get that look, bro. My man Smile used to say that, bro. She gave me the look. The look. It's just a look. You see it, it's like, uh-oh. And then her dude might be kind of corny, might be kind of mean, might be kind of whatever. And you could tell, like, boy, she looking for a parachute, bro. She looking for something. Like, she might not leave this guy permanently because he owns this yacht we on, but she looking to do a little something. And I will try my best to stay away from that. And this is why I tell dudes, like, bro, you're not a true G unless you can tell a dime no. The bartender dude who hollered at Mac, when she first approached him, what did he say to her? He said no. And I'm telling you, bro, she was fine. Like, she's fine now. His makeup's a little too much right now, but his pictures, like, little shorty look nice. He said no. You're not a true G in this game unless you can say no to a beautiful woman. Right? So that's why I say that. It's like, man, I don't want to, that's my homeboy's people, that guy. And his girl, I could tell she ready to do something. I'm talking about like do something in the bathroom right now. Like she ready to do something. Now, back in my day, I was a little more reckless. I would have done it. Back in my 20s, early 30s, yeah, got stories for you. I'll tell those stories right in our community. you know, because it ain't YouTube friendly. Right? These stories are, bro. But now that I'm older, I'm like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. And then you come to find out, like in that same scenario, I've had the dude come up to me and be like, hey, my girl over there, you know, Sasha, you see her? Like, yeah, I see her. Sasha, yeah, she seems really nice. Like, look, Sasha trying to, you know, she wants you to blow her back out. It's cool. We got an understanding. You seem like cool people, so it's fine. You know, you can take her down to the guest bedroom right now if you want to. Sasha wants to do something. She's hot and bothered. Like, word. So you got that going on. I guess that's the whole cuck thing. But you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. It's crazy. Brother Penny was like, yeah, MLD's legal name. I don't want to throw his legal name out there, but like, yeah, I just knew it was like John from Modern Life Dating. But Hogwood, damn, bro. Damn. But the Mano Swamp, the red pill world do hold men accountable. They hold them accountable. They do hold them accountable. But they're also holding women accountable too. And that's the one thing that, you know, I think that bothers people more than anything is when you see a woman on Fresh and Fit or a group of women on Fresh and Fit being held to account for their decisions, and Myron and Fresh are just kind of 10 toes down on it, especially Myron. And then eventually the girl's like, yeah, I guess you're right. Like you didn't have to choose that dude, right? Michael Certain proves every episode. He's like, he goes out with all these women. He's out with 25 women and they all sit down there at the club or whatever. And then they'll say, hey, I need any of y'all. Can anybody describe the busboy? Can anyone describe the barback? Can anyone describe the valet? And all the girls are just sitting like, there's a busboy here? They got a barback? There's a valet? Never saw the dudes. That's truly invisible. And DJ DeMarco was like, nope, I don't understand things either. Like, it's crazy, man. It's crazy out there. They had that run past me once, no way. Bro, down here in Central Florida, bro, that situation, dudes want you to bang their women, happens way too often. Way too often. Right? Yeah, Brother Penny, like his name is out there, bro. People just doing hit pieces on him and all that. We talking about MLD. You know, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. But I'm telling you, man, I've never. I think Tampa, and where else did this happen? Traverse City and Vegas, right? Orange County, California, and Dallas. I want to say Dallas in certain circles, the political circles, especially in Dallas. That's where dudes be approaching me to smash their women and be straight up about it too. Like, yo, and they're like, oh, that's just a thing we do. You know, you was like, there she is over there. She's talking to that girl over there for me. She asked me, you know, to talk to you for her. I mean, it's cool. If you don't want to do it, it's fine. But if you do want to do it, it's fine too, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, those cities is where I encountered that phenomenon the most. Wild, bro. Yeah, you see, yeah, over there, bro, on the east side. Yeah. Man, it's wild. All of Central Florida, man. All of Central Florida is wild. Let's get back to the video.
Than women, I think men are not as good at handling their emotions. I think that's why we have, you know, male suicide rates are so high because they aren't good at processing their emotions. This generation was not taught to process their emotions, and they might be better at holding them in longer, but I don't think that they're less emotional. I think that they process them differently. And I think that after a certain amount of sexual partners, I think it's also hard for men to connect with women during sex. You know? So
yeah, I agree with everything you just said. You know, the pair bonding thing, a lot of the red pill guys put it on women that if they have too many sexual partners, they're going to have trouble committing to a man later on. But the studies show that it's both. Like you said, it's men and women have.
But Michael Sartain says the same thing, man, because he uses the numbers. So this dude is one of those dudes who cherry pick. And again, this guy, he hates Myron. And that's all it is. But to say that the guys in the red pill and the Mano Swamp aren't holding other guys' feet to the fire and getting them to, you know, be accountable for what they're doing, which a lot of times is they got to be accountable for the fact that women don't see them. That's one of the biggest problems. Like, dude, women don't see you because, as Scott Galloway says, hey, would you smash you? Would you fuck you? Look yourself in the mirror, right? So, but Michael Certain talks about these numbers, and it's bad for both, right? It's bad for both. But those numbers say it seems to be worse on the female side. Personally, I don't put too much stock again into the body count thing, bro. I really don't. I really don't. I mean, the divorce rate is still close to 50%. So I mean, bro, and we've already established that ain't nobody really trying to save themselves anymore. So it is what it is, man. Go ahead and flip that coin. Just make sure you do your paperwork and you take precautions to prepare for that possible divorce. That's all.
Increased difficulties with that. So I find that interesting. And then when you mention the truth that you hear from the red pill, can you think of any that jump to mind?
Um, yeah, I think that men have become lazy. I think that they are not necessarily strong leaders anymore, specifically um, men in, I think our culture. I think that I think they completely missed the mark on what a leader is. And this is gonna maybe hopefully my ex will watch this. Maybe it'll help our relationship so we get back together. But he's just the best example of a leader. And I think you have to lead by example. I think that where they kind of lost the plot is they're like, oh yeah, we're the leaders, but we don't have any sexual discipline and we get to do whatever you want. And you just have to sit there and shut up because you're less than. And that is not even close to true.
But is that what they say? Right? Going all the way back to Kevin Samuels, you know what I'm saying? God rest the dead. Certain men have that ability. Not all men. Certain men. And it's funny that neither one of these two mentioned that part. The vast majority of men are invisible to women. The guys who do the work become the best version of themselves. The guys who get to the finish line, they get to bang the winners, right? They get to bang all the women, right? Those guys, the high value men, the top tier men, these men, the guys who are really good with game, like her ex-boyfriend, the bartender, these men have options that they get to exercise. And if you do the work and you are the things that most women want, then yeah, if you don't want to have the discipline, you don't have to have the discipline. It's up to you as the individual, right? If you are the most sought after thing out there and you just want to go out there like fresh and just, rack up 5-6 chicks a day, you can do that. Why? Because the women are agreeing to do it. It's not like caveman days. You bang them in the head with a club and drag them off by the hair. Well, you got to go holler at them. And like I said, I've seen Fresh doing this thing. I've seen Fresh in action. I got to tip my hat to him. Like, yo, dude's game is on point. We were in Vendome one night, bro, and he was literally talking to every bottle girl in there. Each bottle girl in the spot that night made it their business to come over and holler at him. Each one. Vendome, South Beach, one of the hottest clubs they got right now. So you can imagine what these women look like. You mean to tell me that they don't know each other? You mean to tell me they didn't see they homegirls going over and hollering at him too? Bro, some guys, a very small percentage of men, can do that. Right? I just say don't lie about it. There's a lot of dudes out here who just lie about it. Why are you lying, bro? Tell her the truth. And if she says no, all right, fine. Go get another one. You already got another one. That's what y'all talking about in the first place. Right? So not every man can do that. And again, they just left that part out. That's an important part. Not every man can do that. And leaders, and as far as being leaders, yeah, Myron says, men should lead. If the woman leads, is going to lead the relationship, to the trash or whatever, like to failure or whatever. Not every relationship, but he says he believes that men should lead. That's okay. That's just a belief. Right? Okay, cool. I ain't mad at that. Men should lead. But if you can't lead, right? Or there's different ways to lead, right? Someone in that relationship is going to be the commanding officer and someone's going to be the executive officer. You're going to have the CEO and the XO, right? So if you got a relationship where your woman is the commanding officer and you are the executive officer, she's the CEO, you're the XO, and if it's working, then by all means, man, keep doing what you're doing. Y'all rock it out. Keep going. But what Myron tends to say, right, and what he means is if a woman is the alpha in a relationship, at some point, she's probably going to leave that relationship because she doesn't want to lead. She prefers to follow. He's not the only one that says that. There are a lot of women that say that. right? If you read the Bible, the King James Version, I've read it, it's in there, right? So you want to talk about the ultimate red pill? The first red pill book I ever read, King James Bible, right? DJ DeMarco, like, man, she's defining leadership in a way that suits her. Fact. She's also not submissive. I thought, so how he's supposed to lead? This guy that she's messing with, the bartender, he's leading because she wants him so bad. He's leading because she wants that treatment from him. You dig? So again, he's just running the game. He's just doing his thing. And I ain't mad at him. Maybe he really does like her. I don't know. But she says she want, they're saying that the red pill is wrong for telling dudes that they need to lead. But then she turns around, and says that she loves the fact that her dude is a leader.
But I do think that they're right in the sense that men have kind of like, I don't know if I can say this word on here, but been pussified.
Facts.
And let women run all over them. That's also true. No
Facts.
woman wants a man that's gonna, not have any backbone and that is not gonna provide. And I think that
Don DeMarco.
This is a point that I wanted to make. They blame women a lot for being gold diggers, but they also want women to be submissive and to be in the home. So you're kind of creating a problem there. No woman that I know who makes money is worried about what a guy that she's dating, how much money that he's making.
That's not true.
It's only the women that don't want to work. So they kind of create their own problem there.
That's not true. What she just said, that man, that I talk to my people all the time. I am in those bubbles where you can find very successful women, beautiful women who are in the mid to high six figures, some in the seven figures. Bro, they make enough money to take care of anything. They can take care of anyone they want. What's their number one complaint? They can't find a guy. What do they mean? They can't find a guy on their level or better. Right? There are women out there, and I'm working on setting up a conversation with one of my people just so y'all can hear the conversation. Unfortunately, it will be in the members only first. We're gonna put it there first, and then maybe we'll pull it out here for everyone else to hear. But we talk about this 2-3 times a month. She's extremely successful. We talk about this all the time. And then, her friends, I'm sat at the table, right? We sitting out there, y'all Michelle somewhere or Mr. Childs before they closed it down in Miami. Y'all know I'm still hurt. Mr. Childs is gone. It ain't in Miami, ain't in South Beach no more. I got to go to New York to go to Mr. Childs now. Not happy. But, or Mamo's or Dirty French or you name a restaurant. We sat at the table. I'm looking at these women are fine, bro. They are fine. And they're sitting there like, well, I was seeing Mark, but he only makes 200. He only makes 200. I mean, I don't know. It's like, well, damn, baby. I look at them and you're like, I make 350 before my bonuses. And with my bonuses, 2 years ago, I had a really good year. So, I got, really close to 7 figures. Like, damn, shorty. Now, these women will go have some fun. They always got some guys that they like kicking it with or whatever. These women will pay for some things if they want to. They'll get a bottle. Like we out somewhere, like we all kicking it, whatever. We having, having appetizers or whatever. Well, drinks at the bar, then we have dinner. It's just like, hey, let's go to a lounge. We go to like a cool little lounge, man, and we get a bottle or whatever. Then we go to another joint. So if I bought the first bottle, we go to another joint, someone else will get the bottle. Right. They're normally wine drinkers. So they're ordering up, $300, $400, $500 a bottle wine. Right. And I'm sitting there like, shit, I'm the one drinking alcohol. So okay. A lot of them love tequila, but like really fine tequila, which is funny. If you go to some nightclubs, you can get a really, really good fine tequila and it'll be like way cheaper than like, the Grey Goose vodka or Don Julio or Hennessy. It's like, wow, I can't believe I get 150 for this bottle. They're like, yeah. That bottle costs 125 in the store. I'm paying 150 for it in the nightclub because brand, go figure. But anyway, these women, they're looking for dudes. So that part right there, she's like, well, a woman who's making money, she doesn't care how much the other guy makes. Bullshit. Men don't care what women make. Women do care how much men earn. It is what it is. Right? It is what it is. Ebony K. Williams, when she was at Ebony K. Williams, up there. I think she might be messing with 7 figures. She's up there. You know what I mean? But certainly high 6 figures. When asked, would you date a bus driver? Her response was, yeah, if he owned the bus. Ebony K. Williams is not hurting for money. She wanted to date a certain caliber of guy, couldn't lock the guy down that she wanted, or that caliber of guy. So what she wound up doing? Right? She bought some sperm, got herself impregnated, have a baby on her own. If she can afford to have a child in America by herself, single mom, you don't think she can afford to have a dude? She's going to be paying for nannies and childcare, and she's going to be paying for all this other kind of stuff, security when she needs it, somebody to take the baby. Dude, she could have just had a dude be the sperm donor and let him stay in the house. No, she'd rather cut the man out completely and just raise her kid by herself and pay for things she might need. That's the extreme that some women go to. Now, people are like, is that all women? No, most women don't make that kind of money. I ran the numbers on a video I think I did where, we're talking about, how many women make $100,000 a year or more versus how many men. And I mean, the percentage of women, I want to say it was 8% of women. They're like 6 figures or more. I think it was 22 to 23% of men. So, what she just said is not true. Women care. I would argue women care more about how much their man makes when they are successful. This is why I keep telling y'all, like, yo, would you ever get married? I'm like, yeah, sure. If I get married, she makes her net value or her net worth will be 3 times that of mine or more. If that's the case, we can go to Vegas and get married right now. Right? And it's not because I want her money. It's not because I'm gold digging. It's because I don't have to worry. Should this thing end in divorce, which is a 50% chance that it will, I don't have to worry about losing anything. I don't have to worry about losing half of my daughter's inheritance because I want to mess around with this woman. Right? It's not her fault. But if she's making, if her net worth is 3 times that of mine, shit, we good. We golden. Right? She's going to want me to sign a prenup. She's going to want to do the post-nups. I'm going to be right there with her. Let's just, let's hash this out. I ain't trying to take nothing from you. And then we wind up in divorce court and she try to get fly with me and try to go crazy on me. All right. I'm just going to unleash the attorneys that she's going to have to pay for. Right. And we're going to tear up that prenup, let the judge throw the prenup out. And now she's going to be sitting there stuck on stupid, like, oh, why we got to be like this? I mean, can't we just go ahead? Like, nah, you started this. Now I'm about to take, again, half your Hermes collection. I'm taking them Kellys. I'm taking them Birkins. I'm taking them Chanels. I'm taking them red bottoms. Right. I'm taking all them dresses. Right. I'm taking your Poochie. If y'all don't know, look it up. Poochie is like swimwear. Bro, these ladies are out here buying like a 2-piece swimming outfit. It's like $1,000 plus per piece. Poochie, bro, look it up. Right? I'm taking half of that. Right? What are you going to do with all this? I'm going to give it to a stripper. That's what I'm going to do. That's what you get for trying to, go crazy on me. I was trying to play nice. Now I got to show you.
I do think that, men have kind of become lazy in every sense of the word.
They definitely have.
Raised to be that way by society.
My take on that is young men grew up in an era where social media was the norm, and then COVID. I think COVID has had a long-term effect on young men because, that's
bullshit. It's not COVID. It's not all that, man. It's everybody gets a trophy. It's participation awards, bro. That's where the problem is.
That was years of their life kind of gone. They lost a lot of social activity, a lot of socializing, a lot of chances to flirt with women, talk to women, get to know them, understand women. And instead, everything they learned about women feels like they got it online. And then they fell behind on school. They fell behind on work. They can, watch the hub every chance they get. They can play video games, and a lot of guys are doing that now. That's kind of the norm, and women are outpacing men in education, home ownership. More women are in medical school now than men for the first time. So it is going in that direction, but we also see, like, economically, we see the majority of households now are dual income. And almost 50% of women or wives, I believe, make as much as their husbands now.
Yeah.
It's almost 50%. And even What's that?
And why is that threatening? Who
Right.
cares?
It shouldn't be.
It's
Right.
just more money.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, even like the guy you're seeing, you're like, I make more than him, but that's not necessarily the determining factor for you.
And he was still generous. If he would make money, he would just give me it.
Yeah.
I don't need this, but the fact that you gave me this, like, let me go make you a sandwich right now.
Right.
So
Yeah. So it is interesting because a lot of the stuff they say, like, should men have a backbone? Yes. I think confident men are attractive. I think men who stand on their own 2 feet, who believe in themselves, who say, you can say whatever you want about me. It doesn't affect me. It's just I believe in myself so much that my opinion of myself matters more than anyone else's. And that is something that I've found in my own life has made me attractive because I dated when I had no money. I dated when I was riding a bus in Chicago. Like
Mhm.
it just never occurred to me that I couldn't talk to a woman or like try to like go after her.
Yeah, my ex,
Yeah, because he was outside. Dudes from the Midwest. Dudes from the Midwest, man, we built differently. Right? Dudes from the hood, dudes from the barrio, dudes from the trailer park, man, we built differently, man. We're outside. You're absolutely right about guys being inside, trying to blame it on the pandemic, whatever. These dudes were already wrecked, right? There's a lot out there, right? There's a lot out there as to why dudes today are so soft and so weak. There's a lot out there, man. And I blame it on everybody gets a trophy. But the fact that you can't go outside and just play, unsupervised play, bro, I was kicked out of the house, man, at 8 in the morning. Came home for lunch, around lunchtime, got kicked out again, and told me I had to be back on the street back on the street when the street lights came on. I had to be back on the block. Man, we were all over the city, man. We were everywhere, bro. We were everywhere. We were just out there exploring and learning life. And there was certain skills that we learned because we had to deal with us. Us kids are doing it, and we had to deal with other kids, and we had to learn how to resolve conflicts. Sometimes we're fighting, sometimes we're not fighting, right? We had to learn how to go speak for ourselves and talk about stuff. If you wanted something, you had to go, ask for it or work for it. We learned how to make deals. Like during the winter time, like, yeah, I'll shovel the driveway for $5 or whatever. Like, hey, I'll take your groceries from your car and bring it into the crib for you, for a couple bucks. We was out there learning how to, hustle up a little bit of money. It was just before the drugs took over in the streets, right? We were learning things, man. We were making up our own games. We were using our imagination. We were doing so much. Kids ain't doing that today. You let your kid go down to the corner and play in the park by themselves, man. Somebody gonna call the police on you. Police gonna be knocking on the door talking about, yeah, your kid is down the street at the park. Like, I know, I sent him down there. Oh, put your hands behind your back. What? You're endangering your child but this is our neighborhood. It's gated. Like, what do you mean? Endangering. I spent $800,000 to get behind this gate, bro. I can let my kid walk around. But they're making points and they're saying, well, the red pill blames women. No, they don't. And I mean, yes, you'll have someone like Myron and you'll have some people like Lucario and some other folks that'll say, well, yeah, single moms is the problem. You got all these single moms and they're raising all these criminals. Myron's big on that. And in my opinion, he digs down too hard on that. And when he's talking about, he's always talking about minorities, always talking about black people or people, people of color, black and brown people. He ain't necessarily talking about single white ladies, right? But I mean, all right, cool. I get where you're coming from with it. The stats hold it up. A child is better off coming out of a 2-parent household versus a 1-parent household. And then when you do have a 1-parent household, they tend to have a better chance coming out of a single father household than a single mom household. I get all that, right? The numbers are there to prove it, right? And then even when he says this stuff, he's like, yeah, the cure to that is to, have a traditional home, have mom and dad in the home, or at least have dad involved in the child's life, because the numbers show that really helps that out. But again, the biggest reason we're in this problem where guys are going to the internet to find out how to be social and talk to women is because no one taught them that. Like, this old boy is on here, man, he hates Myron Gaines. Okay, fine, I get that, bro. But again, what's your solution? What's your alternative? Are you out here helping dudes? Like, I'm looking at your content, man. You just telling people how bad the red pill is and how much you hate Myron. But what's your solution? You know, look at me like, well, what's your solution, DL Saint? Like, man, I'm gonna talk about fashion, right? I'm gonna talk about getting some good cologne. I'm gonna talk about how to approach, right? I'm gonna talk about maintaining your emotions, keeping them in check, right? We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about how some women move, right? We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about hypergamy. Like, yeah, bro, you know what I mean? We talking about all that. You know what I mean? Cope approaches in the building. What's that? We're gonna talk about all that. Right? So we're gonna tackle these issues. I'm gonna ask you what's wrong, what's bothering you, what can I help you with? Because I had uncles and my dad and older cousins and hustlers out in the street, you know what I mean, lightweight pimps and all that. I had all that. I had people that can show me the game, explain the game to me. I had all that. I was out there, my little crew forced me to go up and talk to women. I learned how to code approach because I had to go code approach. Man, you better go holler at her. Oh, look at you, little punk. Man, you scared to go over there, you little punk? Man, get your ass on there, little punk. Can't hang with us. We don't have no punks hanging with us. I gotta go over there and try to talk to this girl. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just what it is. Right? And, you know, it's blaming women wrong. It seems to be, bro. They're not perfect. No one is. So if they mess up on something, you can't call it. Nope. If you call it, you become a misogynist. If you call it, you know what I'm saying? You become a misogynist. Look, look, and Tyrone talk about I'm going monk mode. You can go monk mode if there's a reason. I tell dudes all the time, like sometimes you do need to know that. Sometimes you need to take the oath. You know what I mean? Back in the day, we didn't call it monk mode. We call it taking the oath. Sometimes you got to take the oath. Like, man, I just went through it with this chick, man. I'm taking the oath right now. Swearing off of women for a while. I might take, you know what I mean, 6 weeks off. I might take 6 months off, but I'm swearing off right now. I'm just chilling. Right now, I've taken the oath because I'm, you know, my daughter's last 2 years of high school. This is very, very pivotal for me. I need to be there to help her talk about stuff and, you know, like just be there. This is, I think, probably the most pivotal time in her development. Right now, she's about to be an adult. She's about to be able to go out here and with a signature do whatever she wants to do. So I got to talk to her not only about finances and how the world works, but I got to also talk to her about boys. This is how relationships work. You know, be mindful of your emotions. This is what's going on, right? And this is why I've taken the oath, man. I ain't trying to mess with nobody. Now, don't get me wrong. Some shit come up to me just trying to get to me. So I'm like, what's up? You want to hit this? Then, I mean, if she's fine enough, and she's talking about just a one night stand, then yeah, it's on. More fire. Like bend over. We doing all that, and then I'm gonna go home. Don't even need to know your name. But outside of that, I'm not trying to be in a relationship, man. It takes too much time, right, to do it right. If you're gonna run a rotation or meet someone for a mid to long term relationship, man, in order for your relationship to work, man, you gotta work at it. And I just don't have the bandwidth right now to be dealing with a real relationship or even, you know what I'm saying, like a mid to long term relationship. I just don't have it. It is a second job, bro. This is a second job. Running a rotation, it takes work. Getting out here after these women, it's never been easier to smash, though. I'm telling you right now, it's never been easier to go out here and get women with where we are with society. You heard old girl Max, she was talking about, yeah, I didn't even want to, I just gave it up. I went to somebody I was cool with, let him smash because, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of women out here trying to give it up. But yeah, I've taken the oath right now, bro. Like look, DJ DeMarco, same thing. Like, yeah, I definitely took the oath about a year ago. You know, just getting back at it as of a few months ago, man. Shout out to you, man. Don DeMarco for taking the oath, bro. Sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes you got to do that. I thought Fresh was about to take an oath for a minute, bro. After that little Daisy situation, man, with the with the baby trap, he might have taken a little micro earth oath. He might have calmed down just for a hot second, but I think he's back to it now.
I mean, when you're living with his mom,
right? It's like, yeah, I live with my parents through like 19. I think maybe on the verge of 20, dated, brought girls over. Yeah. Like it just, it never occurred to me that it was like, I never disqualified myself. And I think that's what a lot of guys do because they hear online what supposedly most women want. And so I think they disqualify themselves. They're like, well, I don't, even some of the guys I coach, they'll talk to me and they say, I'm still at my parents' house. Should I wait till I get out? I was like, no, man, like build the confidence, build up yourself. Go talk to women. Don't make that a thing. Don't disqualify yourself initially. Let them disqualify you. But
You're
Dude said men are disqualifying themselves. That's absolute BS. You know what I mean? I don't want to sound like I'm hating on dude, but that's bullshit and he knows it. He knows it. Right? Dudes aren't disqualifying themselves, man. They don't know how to move. No one's been there to show them the ropes. So he's saying he's coaching dudes. I'm really curious as to, okay, what are you telling these cats? You coaching these dudes? Hey, can you film one of your coaching sessions? Let me have a look at it, bro. I'll sign the NDA. I'm not trying to steal any of your secrets. But what are you telling these cats? Right? What are you telling them about women? Right, what do you tell them as far as like maybe red flags or things to look for? Are you prepping these guys to deal with some women who are just out here trying to wreck men? Are you prepping them for that? Man, I really want to know how he how he's doing that, man. And I hope dude hit me back. Like I said, I sent him an Instagram. I'm gonna send him another DM.
you're going to actually get a lot of the wrong women out of the way. Because I'm not gonna negate what they say on the podcast. There's a lot of really superficial women, especially in Miami, where I am, where the podcast is. And but you don't want to be with that type of woman anyways, you know?
Right.
When I saw my ex, it didn't really matter his life circumstances because I saw a safe place emotionally. I saw somebody who cared about what I had been through, who cared about me, who wanted to make my life better by any means that he had. He was giving me whatever he had, even if it wasn't much. And that, to me, I was like, wow, I just found gold, you know? But yeah.
Yeah, and I think provider now can mean a number of things. I think it's hard to make one income work and then raise a family, especially like in today's economy. So I feel like providing it can take on a different role. It doesn't necessarily mean your bank account. It can mean like, what do you do for the relationship in general? What do you do to make sure that the relationship thrives? And you can provide in that way. It doesn't necessarily need to be financial. Like, do you help around the house? Do you fix things around the house? Do you take care of things that need to be done without being told to? Like, are there things you do to make your family's life better that isn't necessarily monetary? You know, I think there are ways to do it and still be attractive. Of course, financial issues can bring up problems in a relationship, but it's not even in the top 4 reasons I think people get divorced. You know, like when you look at the reason, it's not necessarily financial.
It's not necessarily financial. There are numbers out there to say, hey, man, when a man loses his job and he loses his ability to provide, the odds of divorce go through the roof. Brother Pitton, if you're still watching, man, can you find that stat real quick? I mean, because I know Michael Sertain talks about that all the time, but it's like if you lose your job, the likelihood of divorce goes up like fucking tenfold or some shit like that, like something crazy. Right, fight. I mean, and bro, they're trying to dance around stuff. DJ DeMarco's right, man. The financial thing is a huge factor, bro. It's one of the top factors. One of the top. Right. In fact, when you look at it, people in the higher strata of earners, I want to say, marriages with a household income or net income, yearly income of $250,000 or more. Right, their divorce rates are the lowest divorce rates of all people who are married. Right, I want to say I've read that somewhere. Right, so, bro, a lot of women ain't trying to lose a good situation, especially when the money is right. It's like, I'm gonna stay here, like I'm cool. Right, so now if you're a dude and you're dealing with a woman who has a choice, she can choose you, and you're making $50,000 a year. Busting your ass, you got a job at Target or Walmart, like you're doing DoorDash and Ubering, just scraping by. She's making $150,000 a year, but you're good around the house. You cut the grass, right? You can fix the plumbing and you can paint the room. And she has a choice to be with a guy who's making $500,000 a year. And the men are basically identical. Like they physically identical. They have the same social construct there, like they socially in tune, they're funny, all that, blah, blah, blah. Just the only difference between these two guys is one's making $250,000 a year or whatever, 6 figures or more, and the other one isn't. So a lot of women are gonna go with that guy to make more money, bro. Are there women who will stay with the guy that's making 50 grand because they love him? Yeah. Right. And then I've kind of noticed, and I don't know if there's any numbers on this, but those couples who do stay together, like she goes off and makes a lot of money, and then he makes, just regular money. You come to find out that they've been together since high school or college. They're just like been sweethearts forever, and she just loves him. And she'll tell you, she's like, yeah, well, I'm doing really well. I got through nursing school, or I got through doctor school, or I got through law school because of him. He made sacrifices. He was out there busting his ass, taking care of things while I went through this. So now I'm not leaving him. I love him. We have our family and we're doing everything. Yes, that can happen. Is that the norm? Don't think so, man. The numbers don't hold that up. But these guys that have you believe that, you can do that. Again, I've been around women who make a lot of money and they got there on their own. They're not trying to have a dude that's like a brokey.
Stuff like taking out the trash, not ignoring your feelings, infidelity.
Right.
It's usually money.
Those are
Now,
the main
money is an
reasons.
issue. Money is
Sure.
definitely an issue, especially if you are a lazy woman and you don't want to work.
Right.
Then money will be, but not most women don't think that way. And I think one of the reasons why, I could be wrong. This is just my own thoughts on it,
Sure.
but one of the reasons why so many women are getting jobs, getting houses, getting degrees, and out earning the men in this generation is because we grew up with moms who were stuck. My mom was stuck.
Yeah.
And so even though my dad was loyal, their marriage was not healthy and it was not good. And when it ended, her 20s were gone. She had no money. She lost everything. She even lost her inheritance from her family. And so she was left with nothing. And so for me, it was like, no matter what, I never want to be in that position. And that's true for so many of me and my friends. Or if not that, their first relationship was with a man who was so incompetent emotionally or so abusive that they vowed to themselves that they would never be in that situation ever again. That's true for almost all of my friends.
Yeah, my mom is in the similar boat. She got married.
Society pushes that narrative. I mean, it is what it is. And Zoom 0430, he's right. They're getting mortgages, man, not homes. So they're not buying land and houses, man. They're buying condos and townhouses and stuff like that, bro. There's a difference. There's a difference. And if you're down here in Florida and you got a condo that's under assessment, bro, you need some help right now. But that narrative that, women couldn't do this and women couldn't do that. And, they're making the money because they know they have to be there to take care of themselves because no one else is going to take care of them. And I find that really hard to believe, especially someone who's on pace to pay over $500,000 in child support over 18 years. Right? Where's that money going to? It's not going to the child. Right? So you telling me no one's here to take care of you? Cut that out. You're telling me you look again. James Sexton was talking about this, man. You look at, take the top 5 wealthiest women in America. Where'd they get their money from? Chat, I'll let y'all answer that question. Where did they get their money from? Oh, society's not going to take care of you? Stop it. Stop it. Bro, I moved from Cali. I lived in LA for the majority of my time. I used to work in Van Nuys at the airport. I'm retired air traffic controller. I was in San Diego for a bit. I was in Miami for a bit. So I was in the Valley. I was all over SoCal, man. From Stevens' Ranch, Valencia, as far south as Marina Del Rey, Playa Vista. Like I was in West LA, Burbank, Pasadena. And the one thing about California people just don't understand is how damn expensive it is. The only people who really appreciate, how expensive it is New Yorkers. New Yorkers pay the same kind of money, but they get nothing. Like New Yorkers are spending, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month on an apartment. They barely have 1,000 square feet. I mean, when I say barely, I mean 700 or 800 square feet in some of these places, right? It's insane. But you spend $5,000 a month on an apartment in LA, at least when I was there, you're getting over 1,000 square feet, tons of amenities. You got a garage, you got secure elevators, got a pool, you got entertainment, like recreation room and all sorts of stuff. You got a balcony. So New Yorkers would come to LA and it's the same amount of money, but like you get all this stuff with it. And that's what New Yorkers loved about Miami. But the rest of the country, the vast majority of the country, bro, y'all, they ain't ready for the kind of money you got to spend in LA. And gas, I just filled up last week. It was like $104. You know, I got to get premium. I for the car that I drive to get premium. $104 for the fill up here in Tampa. That's a lot of money in Tampa. I haven't spent that kind of money since I was living in LA. In LA, I was driving the 7 Series. I had the X5 at one point. So yeah, most of the cars I had to get premium. Like, bro, I was used to spending $115, $125 a fill up. And I was driving a lot more. So I was doing that once a week, bro. Do the math. Like, it is a lot. You know what I mean? So welcome, Zoom 0430. Women get help at every least they got subsidized through many men. Yeah. Like I said, like the top 5 wealthiest women in American today in America, where did they get their money from? And they got it from divorce. They got it from divorce. You know, Jeff Bezos' wife is the number 1 on the list. Here's the thing. I think Jeff Bezos' wife, she earned that money because he couldn't start what he started without her. I think she earned it. But there was a lot of people on that list like, bro, she ain't do shit. Just being a woman. You know what I mean? You're right about the house, man. You are lucky to find a house for $750,000 to $800,000 out there in California. $800,000 in I mean, dude, I don't even think you can buy a cottage in Studio City. I left in 2020. I think today, if you try to buy like a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath, probably not even that, probably like a 1 bath, you know, like remodel, a flipper. If you try to buy like a, you know, maybe 1,200 square feet house in Studio City, man, I think that starts at like 1.2 million. I wouldn't be surprised. It was $1 million. It was like 950,000 to 1.2, 1.3 million back in 2020 when I left. I have no idea where it is now because the Palisade fires and everything just shot the prices up on everything. But yeah, Zoom, nobody's talking about, man. It's crazy out there, man. LA ain't no joke. Let's get back to the video.
Married at 19. My parents are still together. I wouldn't call their marriage great, but they're still together. Yeah. But my mom, she has a high school education, and that's about it. And you know, and she has some minor work experience doing kind of, you know, this and that part-time. But if my dad were to have left her, or like, you know, I don't know what she would have been. She would have had no option. Yeah, she probably had to live with me, you know, like, and you know, I would obviously do it, but it's one of those things that I would always think about, and like I would never want to leave somebody in that position. You know, there was a point I did take care of some of my early girlfriends who were like getting their life figured out. I was like paying for most of the things, but at some point I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be the only one carrying the load.
So he doesn't want to take care of some women who ain't trying to do nothing, which is your role. I would agree that that's your role as a man. What makes you think she's going to want to do that? She's not going to want to tolerate taking care of a man. Now, are there women out there who do it? Yeah, I grew up in the hood, saw it all the time. I would see women that had deadbeat dudes in the house. I would see women who had good men in the house. They were married, and she worked in corporate America, and he was like a plumber, or he was a mechanic. You know, sometimes you would have like, he's an electrician, and they had a great life. But, you know, where I was staying, you might just have a dude who was handyman. He was just making his money in the hood as best he could, legally doing his thing. But his wife, she's working downtown, right? And you know, she's working in corporate, and she's bringing down, you know, 6 figures. This is back in the 80s. 6 figures was a lot of money. 6 figures in 1980, in the 80s, is equivalent to like almost $400,000 today. So that's 6 figures was big. So yeah, they be living pretty good, and she'll pull them out of the hood, and they stay together. Why? Because they were together forever, and they did love each other. But you would have women who were, you know, some women in the hood were living on alimony, living on child support, right? Brittany Renner tried to do that with PJ Washington. She was basically trying to get the child support maxed all the way out so she could live a great life off her son's, you know, father. It didn't work. She's getting like what, $4,000 or $5,000 a month or something like that. I think it's $5,000 a month in child support. She moved back to Mississippi. She's still going to be living off that child support, right? Her son is basically going to be taking care of her through her dad, right? So now that it's like women are going to just be out there homeless, you know what I mean, living under a bridge. No, they're not going to be doing that. Like Zoom 430 is talking about, man, people going out to Riverside. Man, people are moving to San Bernardino, commuting from San Bernardino to Van Nuys or San Bernardino to Burbank. every single day. Like, bro, you got to buy a car every 2.5 years. You can't even afford that. You got people living in Riverside or San Bernardino or whatever, Camarillo, damn near all the way out to Santa Barbara, commuting into the Valley or commuting into West Hollywood or Marina Del Rey or something like that. And the thing is, it's like now, with gas prices going up even higher, they're not going to be afford to get to work. That's another conversation for another day. But it's good to see you, Zoom. Zoom 430. Keep coming back, fam.
I don't think it's meant to be that way. And I think I'm studying history right now in school, and I've learned about the Celts and the Norse. And you know, a lot of the history was erased because a lot of their history was like verbal. They would pass their history on verbally. They wouldn't necessarily write it down.
Yeah.
But there's so much evidence in both cultures for gender equality. So but they want you to believe that it's this natural state of things, that, you know, women were always submissive to the men. I think it's a little more complex than that. I think men and women have always been different. They've always had different roles. And I think that when you work together, you combine like a woman's intuition and a man's strength, or, you know, mental strength. I think you create something more beautiful. I don't think it's meant to be the woman just sits at home and does nothing all day, and then the man goes out and works and slaves away. And I also don't think it's meant to be the opposite either. I think that there's a balance.
Yeah. So. And I think there's a lot of kind of revisionist history when it comes to that. A lot of women did hunt, and, you know, in villages raised, it wasn't just, you know, one person, you know, it wasn't always the 1950s. And I think that's what people imagine, because it's so recent that that's still what people imagine what a partnership or a marriage is supposed to be. And I've seen some videos recently, because obviously the trad wife content is like proliferating throughout the internet. But I saw some videos recently that kind of like blew my mind. It was an older woman. I want to say she was maybe mid 50s. And she said, like, I'm looking for the trad wife content from people my age. Like, I want to see the women who are my age making this kind of trad wife content, because I can tell you, most of us didn't like it. We wanted out.
There isn't any.
Yeah. And the comments were like, yeah, my husband did this and I can, you know, left me with it. And it was just a whole like chorus of women saying, yeah, it doesn't work the way you think it does, because obviously men can cheat and leave you with nothing. Men create secret families that you don't even know about. You know, there's a divorce.
Again, I see what dude is doing. I think he really hoped to get some nasty stories about Myron and Fresh from Mac here. And when she came in and say, nah, Myron and Fresh are cool, that kind of just destroyed his whole interview. He's probably like just balling up his notes and throwing them like, ah, shit. But the whole trad wife thing, like he said, women were out there hunting. Okay. Back in the day when women had to do the hunting, women were hunting. Why was she hunting? Because her husband and her sons were out fighting a war, maybe. They were out tracking down, you know, someone who'd been snatched up maybe by like a neighboring tribe or one of, you know what I'm saying? Like the Apaches came and so they're out there. Or maybe they joined a posse. They're trying to, you know, track down an outlaw. So yeah, she would go out there and shoot some possum, shoot some rabbit or something like that. But there was always older men in the village that would be there for her, because they all knew, like, if she came up against a bad guy, it's going to be a problem. So, I mean, like, he threw that out there, but it's like, come on, man. You know, and then as far as finding an older woman who's a, you know, trad wife, they're sitting around cooking. There are women out there who did that. There are women out there who brought home the bacon and fried it up in the pan and never let you forget you a man. That was a commercial, by the way. That's why I said all that. That was like a thing. Like, a woman will go out and work and then come home. And, you know, there are women who first chance they got, they're like, okay, I could walk away from the job. You know, my husband's doing good. I don't have to work. We don't need the second income anymore. She would do it. You know, there was a bunch of women who were stay-at-home moms. They were Avon ladies, right? They were Mary Kay ladies. Like Avon, they was, you know, they were selling Tupperware. They were selling makeup, right? They were doing their thing, bringing in a little extra money. But they, you know, they say, well, they felt trapped in this and that. Times were different back then. I grant you that. But it wasn't, you know, we talking about the 80s and 90s, bro, there were women out there baking cakes, making cookies, making brownies, making cupcakes, taking care of business, making sure the kids were good. They were staying home because they wanted to stay home. And like I said, they had a little side hustle. Like to sit there and say, well, there was some women out there saying this stuff. I want to see where the trad wives are for 50-year-olds. They're not online because that's not their thing. They're busy doing their trad wife stuff. Now, here's the thing. Yeah, the trad wife thing that we see online today, that's just a play. That's content. They're making money. It is what it is, right? And being a traditional wife, stay at home mom, right? It's like Bill Burr said, bro. It's not the most difficult job in the world, but it is important, right? And what's his name said that? Man, Lori, I just talked about him with the tattoos and all that. James Sexton. James Sexton said that. Not the hardest job in the world, but it is the most important. Staying home with your children, raising your children, being there for your children, taking care of the home. That's probably the most important job out there, right? Is it as difficult today in 2026 or back in 1986 as it was in 1886? Absolutely not. Right? Absolutely not. You know what I mean? So I get what they're saying about the content out there, and Zoom is right. Yeah, some of it is. They'll be out there with the tatas hanging out, bro, with just, you know what I'm saying, with just like a little apron on, or the see-through stuff as they're bending over to put stuff in the oven. Yeah, you're right. Like I said, it's a play to get money. But they make these things, they say a couple things and then they back out of it right away. Like, come on, bro, you know better than that. Like, there are women out there who are happy being, you know, a stay-at-home mom. And they love the fact that they were able to be there for their kids when they needed them most. And then once the kids got to middle school and high school, mom was like, all right, let me go out here and get a job. And he was saying like, oh, you know, my mom didn't, you know, she had a high school education. She can't do nothing. Bullshit. I never finished college. I got a high school education. I'm a retired air traffic controller. Right? I'm a comedian. I'm a promoter. I'm a businessman. Like, you can do things. I mean, it's just, now we're making excuses. Now we're making excuses. And again, what the red pill talks about, right, is not that far removed from what they're talking about. It's almost as if he's working in his mind like, okay, what can I say that's going to make the red pill stuff look bad? Because Mac here, she wants a red pill dude, sounds like to me, right? You notice they stopped talking about that.
Lawyer who said, you know, a lot of women file for divorce simply because the guy just left, and like she's left with nothing. It has to take a legal action to try to get some sort of compensation,
talking about James
some sort of
Sexton.
income.
James Sexton
so
said
take
that.
care of the kids because the guy just left. And you know, so I think when I start to see trad wife content from people who have lived it.
But here's the thing. There are stories and there are situations when the women just leave. Right? And the dude just handled business. And they're like, well, the man was making money. Yeah, but he was counting on her to stay at home and do the child care and all that. Do you guys know how much child care costs a week? You know what I mean? Shout out to Mom Dami in New York. They kind of tackled that, but everywhere else, bro, it's pricey.
And then I might start to buy it, other than these young women who are like LARPing in some way, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, my grandma, my mom's mom, my grandma and my mom are so traumatized by their trad wife life. And, you know, my grandma especially, her husband did very well for himself. They were politicians. And, you know, her advice to me, don't get married, have a kid out of wedlock with genes that you like. I'm like, what are you, this is what my grandma's telling me. She's like, don't do it. It's a trap. All men are bad. Like, so, and she lived the perfect trad wife life that everybody imagined. And then you have my great grandma who's passed away, who was lucky enough to have a fantastic husband, but he also let her do whatever she wanted. So she was able to like learn, and she had like a sailing club. And so her experience was different, but you know, feminism is not for people who are in happy marriages. Feminism is for people who are stuck in abusive situations. And when I think about my first boyfriend, he didn't want me to work. And because I was raised so traditional and so conservative, I was like, okay, my boyfriend doesn't want me to work. I'm not going to work. And so when he started to get abusive, I had no way to get out. I was stuck. I was stuck with him. And
again, Lil Shorty, she's had some bad experiences, but he says, I don't want you to work. And she said, okay. All right, cool. Now, maybe it's because I'm from the hood or whatever. Maybe it's because I've seen the dark side of man. I would say, all right, cool. but I'm sitting on a stack of cash. I got an exit plan, right? Maybe it's because I'm an air traffic controller. And air traffic control, you got to have your primary plan, right? You got plan A, you got plan B, you got plan Z, plan C all the way down to plan Z in ATC. That's how it works, because these plans ain't gonna work. The first 3 might not work. So I'm gonna have to have at least 10, 15 more. And when I formulate those plans, I gotta have another 10 or 15 more below that. So if you're a young woman, you're out here, got this guy, and it's like, okay, you want to rock with him. He's got all his money. He's showing you the lifestyle. He's telling you he doesn't want you to work, and you say, okay, I'm not going to work. Shouldn't you still have an exit strategy just in case? Just in case. You still get to know this guy, right? Maybe you haven't seen the real dude. Then you see the real dude. She's like, well, I couldn't go anywhere. I was just stuck. You couldn't go home? You didn't have any girlfriends you can go to? Right? You couldn't do nothing. There's shelters for this sort of thing. You could have gone to law enforcement, especially if you're getting beat up on. They will come take him away. Right? Some judges, depending on what state you're in, might make him pay for you to get a new place, or pay for your new living expenses. Like the judge might say, no, he's going to have to pay for that apartment for a year. Either you can stay where you are in that apartment he has to pay for it, or he has to get you another place. You might get that. So, ladies, if you're out there, you're dealing with a guy, you make a bad mistake, right? You get into the situation and the dude becomes abusive, leave. Leave. Tina Turner, that joint. Leave. What's love got to do with it? Take care of yourself first. Fellas, that goes for y'all too. If y'all get into a situation with a crazy deranged chick, leave.
And I had to sneakily get back into work. Oh, there's a preschool downstairs. I want to teach at the preschool just so I could have some money so that next time I wouldn't be sleeping in my car. I remember one time I was sleeping in my car and I didn't know how I was going to pay my phone bill. I didn't know if my phone bill was going to go out. So I would drive my phone bill did go out. I had to drive to Starbucks, park at the Starbucks, use the Wi-Fi at night to apply. I applied to 150 paralegal jobs in Washington, D.C., and use the Wi-Fi to figure out how to get back home to Virginia Beach, because I was 3 hours away in DC with my first boyfriend. So it's I've lived these experiences, and I was the good girl. My body count was 0.
You hear, dude? Oh my God. Oh my God. Never talk like that. If you're a guy, if a woman's telling you a story, you still want to be manly, man. You still want to be, you a dude. Word, man, that's terrible. That's terrible. But you didn't know how to get back to Virginia Beach from DC? You drove up there, didn't you? You don't want to say it right away, but just kind of let them know, well, yo, couldn't you, again, you didn't have an exit strategy for this? Okay, it's the first time you had a bad boyfriend. All right, did it happen again? Oh, it did? It happened again? You said, well, yeah, I was learning. Baby, you still got, is mom and dad still around? You got grandma, granddad still around? You got cousins? Bro, there's got to be somewhere you can go. If you were telling me you were an orphan, okay, that's something different. But even still, they got shelters. You could have gone to a shelter. There are organizations out there that will give you a phone. They'll pay your phone bill for you. They'll give you some money up front to take care of your stuff. There's plenty of help out there. The big thing is you get into a situation like that. You're like, oh, I'm sneaking to get a job. I ain't sneaking to do nothing. Leave. And if dude follows you, will try some some fuckery, call the police. Don't deal with it. And if you're talking to a woman, don't talk like this guy. Oh my God. Don't clutch the pearls, fellas. Don't do all that. Still be a man. Oh, that's, damn, babe, that's crazy. Sorry you had to go through that. Right? Talk to her the way you would talk to your homeboy. The problem is a lot of y'all dudes, that's how y'all be talking to each other. Y'all be talking like girls, man. Y'all need to stop that.
Girl, when I met this guy, and I still ended up in that situation, and so it's so dangerous. So dangerous.
Yeah. And yeah, when your ex said, I don't want you to work, where did it come from, do you think? Was it from a place of control, or was it a place from I just want to I want to be kind?
No. It was absolutely coming from a place of control.
You knew that?
And I'm not saying if it were to be my boyfriend now, well, we're working on it. We're not technically back together yet, but he would just do it because he just wanted me to be happy and enjoy myself, in which case I wouldn't even want to. I would want to continue working. But no, it's definitely from a place of control with him.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between, I would love to take care of you because I love you. I want to take care of you. I want you to live a good life. If you want to work, fine, but you don't have to. Like, I think that's a different place than I just don't want you to work because, or like it's the motive behind it. I think that matters a lot.
Or like, I want you to stop working so you can take care of the kids.
Right.
Focus on the kids. That's beautiful. But I think that kind of trad wife, that makes sense. But then it's like, okay, so what are you going to do for yourself? Because once the kids are gone, that's when a lot of the marriages fail.
Right.
You know, and I never got married. That first boyfriend that I told you about, he actually proposed to me 2 times, which I said no both times. I was like, I don't really like where this is going. But I have friends who got married younger, and most of them are divorced.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I got married in my mid-20s and got divorced like a year later. So like getting married young is you're just not aware of the world yet. You're not aware of like yourself. You know,
your brain hasn't fully developed.
Brain hasn't fully developed. There's so much experience that you have to gain in life, you know. And I look back at that young guy and I'm like, what were you doing, dude? Like you know, but that's what happens with experience. And I think when you're that young, you think you know the world, and then
when you're told this is the right thing to do, you should get married. And a lot of my girlfriends now who got married and are getting divorced are like, I don't know who I am. I'm just a mom. And I have no idea who I am. I never got to, and this is what happened to my mom as well. I didn't get to follow any of my grandma. I didn't get to follow any of my dreams. I didn't get to, you know, go to school. I didn't get to finish this. And then they hate their ex-husbands for the rest of their life. And that is not the future I wanted for myself. So, but then there's my sister got married young, and she's really happy. She wanted to be a mom. So it's, you know, she's technically a trad wife, and she seems happy. So, but even then her husband has to work his ass off, and she has to work too. They both work. Yeah. So
yeah, I think that's the way now.
Yeah.
So when it comes to your current ex, what are you gonna? What's next? what are you doing to try to rekindle?
So I mean,
all right, guys, I'm gonna leave it there. We're about halfway through this video. And the way they're talking, like, again, oh boy was hoping for I hate Myron, good content. Tell me about how much of an asshole he is. And back off rip was like, he's a cool dude. You know, I was surprised how cool they are. And you know, a lot of stuff they're talking about makes sense. Right. So he kind of, you know, I think he lost his steam there. She's about to get into how she's trying to get this guy back. Yo, if y'all want me to do another show, like a part 3, and delve into that, hit me up in the comments, man. We can make that happen. But I'm tired of hearing. I mean, it's what we were talking about. I think we see it now. It's not the message of the red pill. Be the best version of yourself, work hard, be a leader, you know what I mean? Be compassionate, be competent, be brave. You know, it's not that, it's the messenger. Right? Little Shorty, I mean, she summed it up, bro. She wants a guy, the guy that she wants is all those things, the protector, right? He's on his way to being a provider. Right, because he's 7 years younger than she is. He's still in his 20s. She's like 27 years old. She's 35. So by the time he hits 35, he would have made it into the money. And I think that's what she's betting on. She's trying to get back with him, but it's going to be an uphill battle for her. I mean, dude might let her come through, you know, smash or whatever. They quote unquote trying to work things out. You know what I'm saying? You might have that situation, but I mean, bro, I got to stop. You know what I mean? I got to stop because little Shorty, she doesn't hate the red pill, right? She wants a man who possesses basically the red pill knowledge and is the product that the red pill preaches, right? She just doesn't like the accountability part. She just doesn't like certain aspects of it. And oh boy doesn't like the messengers. He doesn't like Rollo Tomasi. He doesn't like Michael Certain. He hates Myron, right? And a lot of that gets lost there, bro. If you out here trying to figure it out, you can find some viable answers in the Mental Swamp in the red pill space. Read that book that's over my shoulder there. Read Unplugged Alpha. It's a good place to start. I'm more than halfway through with The Top Shelf Man by Rich Cooper as well. That's another good book to read. What Myron wrote in Women Deserve Less. I didn't read the second one. I think he did another one said Women Deserve even less or whatever. I didn't read that one. But Women Deserve Less. Not a bad book. There was some good stuff in there. Very provocative title. But the same themes are in that book. Right. And like I said, make sure y'all read the Book of Numbers. One of Aaron Clary's books. Make sure y'all read the Book of Numbers. It will blow your mind on how much money guys spend pursuing women in a lifetime. So the red pill message is definitely here to stay. It's mainstream. Everyone's talking about it. Right. And it can help you. If you're looking for answers, you can find some answers over there in the red pill space. Be careful around them black pillars. No, Cope, I know, I know you in here. Man, be careful around them doom and gloomers. Be careful around them black pillars. Right? You know it, man. Be careful around them black pillars. But, they make some good points. But, I'm cool with Cope when, he decides to be a black pillar. I ain't mad at him because he's been out there. You know what I mean? He done did his thing. He done smashed some chicks. He knows what time he's been in the game. So if he wants to, call a timeout, you know what I'm saying, and tug on his own jersey so he can come sit on a bench, that's fine. I ain't got a problem with that. But if you're a guy who's out there who never done the work, never even tried, and you tried to tell little Sally that you had a crush on since second grade that you like her, and she told you to kick rocks, you don't know who you are. Now you hate all women, you're a black pillar. Nah, bro, you just a water boy. In order to be a black pillar, you got to do the work and be in the game first to decide, okay, I'm gonna go ahead, call my number, sit down on a bench. Right? Those guys who ain't never tried, those guys who ain't got no experience because they're too afraid to get out there. Man, them dudes, y'all the water boy. Y'all water boys. And no one gives a shit what the water boy thinks. Just go bring me some water. You know what I'm saying? No one cares what you got to go through to go get that water. Go get me a Gatorade, son. I don't care about that. Like, if you want my respect, get out here. You know what I mean? Get out here on the field, get hit, get trucked one time, get some grass stains on your uniform. Make the team. Right? My biggest problem with the black pillars, man, like, man, you dudes didn't even try to make the team. Didn't even go on tryouts. You didn't even try. Can't respect that. But there's some good information you can get out here in the red pill world. And there's some horrific information and, advice that you can get out here in the red pill world. Right? Eat the meat, spit out the bones. Right? So that's it. If you guys want me to do a part 3 and like just cover the rest of the video, the rest of the interview, I could do that for you. Just let me know in the comments and all that stuff below. If you want to watch the rest of that interview on your own, that video is linked in the description below, so go check it out. And that is from the Women on Men podcast. I'm definitely gonna be watching and and commenting on old boy. Like I said, I'm gonna try to get an interview with the guy. He talked to Andrew. He had a debate, quote unquote, debate with Andrew Wilson, and I guess maybe he's thinking, man, I'm at that level. I ain't gonna talk to nobody else unless you up here. Or maybe he'll sit down and have a conversation. But I bet you if I had a conversation with dude, I bet you that he's been out there in the game, got wrecked, did some bad boy shit, did some good boy shit, and figured it out. Said he got married young, got divorced. He married his wife, and he mentioned about his wife saying she was out there doing some stuff or whatever, but it was a choice. Right? I'm going to leave you guys with this. The one thing I want y'all to understand and figure out and accept is the game is the game. Right? The game is the game. So learn it. Be aware of what can happen. Right? Figure out what you need to know versus what you don't need to know. Go out here and get your heart broke. Go out here and be the good boy and get your pockets ran one time so you can see like, oh, I ain't never do that again. And go out here and be the bad boy. I've been both. And I have been far more successful as the bad boy than as the good boy. Go learn these things. Right? So you can prepare yourself for whatever it is you're trying to do. If you're just trying to smash, great. If you're trying to find somebody for a long-term relationship, great. If you just want to have this game so you can do it whenever you want to do it, like if an opportunity presents itself, you can see what it is and get in, great. But it's a game, man. And no outcome is guaranteed. None. So if you decide you want to go out here and get married, make sure you take care of yourself and you plan for that divorce. It may not come, but if it does come, you're prepared. If you want to go out here and you want to date a woman who used to be a stripper, she's like a reformed 304, born again virgin. If that's what you want to do, fine. Just understand, right? That woman is probably going to embarrass you at some point. Just understand it's just going to be an uphill battle. It might work for you, it might not. You want to date a single mom and you're not a single parent, understand what that comes with. That's all I want you to learn. Understand these things, right? I'm not trying to say this is gospel was this and this is gospel was that. I ain't trying to say all that. I'm just trying to say learn the game. So when you go out here, at least you're prepared. When I played football in high school, when I saw the hit coming, it didn't hurt as much as when I got blindsided. When I got blindsided, boy, that's when you wake up, you don't know where you at. But when you see the hit coming, you can prepare for it. That's all I'm saying. You get out here on this field and you ain't ready, you're going to get trucked by some innocent looking girl. And you ain't going to believe what happens. You're going to be waking up, face mask all crooked, man, little cartoon bird swinging, flying around your head, talking about what's going on. Right? You don't want to get trucked. So that's it. That's all we got, man. Appreciate you, coach, man. Tyrone's always good people to have, man. It's like he's never seen this guy before. Yeah, man, he's on whatever podcast, man. Him and Andrew Wilson went at it. He's been trying, like he's like just gunning. When Myron was doing that Tell Me I'm Wrong tour, he was out in LA. Oh boy, came to that. This video of that. Like he's just obsessed with Myron, man. That's what it seems like, man. Yeah, I think that would be a good conversation too. I would love to talk to bro. So I'm gonna keep trying. Man. So that's it. Shout out to old girl. I don't forgot her name already. Damn it, I didn't write it down. But Mac Lawson, I think that's her name. Mac Lawson. Shout out to her. Hopefully she'll get back to me. And if she does, we'll definitely have a conversation, man. So you guys, we can talk about it. We can bring her over here. If she sees my DM, she'll definitely reach out to me, man. She's a stand-up comedian. I sent her a link to this. So, hopefully she'll watch this. Mac, if you're watching, salute to you. This isn't about you. This isn't a hit piece or anything like that. We just wanted to talk about the conversation that we watched half the conversation here, man. So that's it, guys. I'm tired. I got to go. Tomorrow's Friday, and my daughter starts school on Monday. So, we got stuff to do over the weekend, and I got to get up in the morning, got some other stuff to do as well. So I appreciate y'all, man. Thanks for rocking out with me. I'm DL Saint. This is the I Really Want to Know podcast, and I will see you guys soon, probably Tuesday, right? Peace.
Nothing like I've ever seen. It's just a thing of beauty.
Darn, that's the end.
Thanks for watching. We really appreciate your support. And if you like that video, check out this one or maybe that one. We'll see you around. Peace.